Star Wars will be done my way. I don't care what they have to say. I think that they should let it go, and they'll never get a Blu-ray of the Star Wars that you used to know.
Didn't have to change it all. Treat me like a whopper and I feel so cold. No, you didn't have to sell your soul. Do we really need to watch them all again in 3D? Jar Jar was an all-time low. What happened to the Star Wars that I used to know? Movies I used to know.
Hello, I'm Jen with the Tornoob Podcast, episode 3. I'm not sure how you found this goofy thing, but thank you for giving it a try. The topics of companions and crew skills go together like peanut butter and jelly, but I'm going to make a separate podcast episode for each because there is so much information on the game mechanics of each that I think is worth knowing, and a single episode with both categories would be way too long to digest and way overwhelming. I'm worried that these episodes are confusing as it is, so some of the information will overlap, but I cannot anticipate who will listen to what, when. I think the potential of a repeat is acceptable if it means that each episode is self-contained, and I have the best chance of giving the right information to the person who needs it. Now, in this podcast episode, I'm going to focus on companions, and specifically what they do, how to get them, and what's possible with them. SWTOR is a very story-driven game, and a lot of its players don't like knowing what's going to happen in a particular class or planetary mission storyline until that thing happens, to which the player smacks their forehead, saying, "Oh, I should have seen that coming." So to that end, I will keep the spoilers to an absolute minimum. I will only name the first companion that each class gets by the time they're level 10. I'll talk about their stats, how to use companion customization, how to raise their affection scores, how to equip them with armor and weapons, and how to send your minion off to do battle or do missions for you. I'll put a few links in the show notes for this episode for those of you who want to see and know more about a specific companion and therefore might spoiler yourself away from this podcast. You can find those show notes at tornoob.com. I have experience in MMO games like Asheron's Call, World of Warcraft, and Flyff, so I'm familiar with the concept of pets, usually vanity things that don't do anything useful but look cute and follow you around. The companions in this game can look cute and follow you around too, but they can do so much more. A companion is a very smartly programmed uber pet of doom, capable of the same combat roles as players are, namely tanking, DPS, or healing. They will usually specialize in DPS and either tanking, or healing. Every character you play will get a total of 5 class-specific companions by the time your character is level 50 and you have completed your class storyline. Each of these 5 companions are gained through the class missions. This is the only tiny, spoilery part of the podcast episode, and like I said, it's very mild, because by level 10 you will know what your character's first companion is. For the Jedi Knight, you will be teaming up with T7, a little astromech droid who reminds one of R2-D2 from the movies. The Jedi Consular will save the green lizard Kaizen Fest the Trandoshian from certain peril, and he'll begin following you around. The smuggler is going to gain the friendship of Corso Riggs, who teams up with you for the remainder of the game. And for you troopers out there, the cat-like Arik Jorgen will be among your crew members. On the Imperial side, for the Sith Warrior, you could look forward to the Twi'lek Vet following you around. The Sith Inquisitor gains the services of the Dashad Cam Val, if you can survive that last dungeon, that is. The Bounty Hunter allows Mako to team up for credits and glory. And finally, the Imperial Agent will bump into Kaleo in multiple places and finally go off adventuring with that one. You can be as welcoming or as dismissive to your new companion friend as you see fit, but they won't leave your side. And as you gain new companions who all have their different combat roles and unique personalities, you will be able to choose who you want to drag with you on a constant basis. Of all the first companions available to the beginning player, I have to say that the Jedi Knight has the worst one. Droids in general have inferior survivability and damage output of all the others, no matter how good their armor and weaponry. Also, instead of armor, they wear droid parts of varying types, which is generally very rare to find if you don't have your own cybertech crafter. It's cool to have an R2 type unit following you around, but he's so gimpy. By contrast, the Bounty Hunter gets a healer as a first companion, which makes leveling quite the positive experience. Personally, I think the healer should be the first companion for everyone, but that's just my wishful thinking. Anyway, T7 is a tank and DPS, a little better at DPS, but he takes aggro away from even the strongest tank, which gets annoying. Kaizen is a tank and DPS, great for the squishy Consular. Corso Riggs is an adequate tank, which frees up your smuggler for more DPS, and Arik Jorgen is also an adequate tank to team up with the equally tanky Trooper. Vet is pure DPS and really good at it. Kamval is a beefy tank and great for the squishy Inquisitor. Mako is the healer, which goes great with the Bounty Hunter's tanking. And Kaleo has a tiny figure, but don't let that fool you. She makes an excellent tank, freeing up the agent for DPS. Let us talk of stats. To review, the Jedi Knight player character uses Strength, the Jedi Consular uses Willpower, the Smuggler uses Cunning, and the Trooper uses Aim. Of all the first companions of all characters in the Republic, they use Aim, which makes things easy. As you're leveling from about level 5, you look for pieces of armor like the ones for the wrist, waist, and head that use Aim. You're out of luck for droid parts. Sorry, Jedi Knight, the only droid parts you're going to find are mission loot and what you can find off the GTN, or if you have a friend who has a cybertech who can take pity on you. The Imperial side is a little more complicated. To review, the Sith Warrior player character uses Strength, Sith Inquisitor uses Willpower, the Agent uses Cunning, and the Bounty Hunter uses Aim. The companions Vet and Mako use Cunning, Kamval uses Strength, and Kaleo uses Aim, like the tanks on the Republic side, but at least you don't have to shell out credits for droid armor. When you gain your first companion, you can see what they're wearing by hitting C on your keyboard to bring up your character sheet. Notice that at the bottom of this window, you'll now see a tab for your companion. When they become your companion, they become with no belt and no bracers, so keep an eye out for these two specific pieces of armor. You'll find better versions as random loot and mission rewards between about levels 10 and 20, but remember to keep your companion's armor almost as updated as your own to keep up their survivability. Now, if your companion dies, it's no biggie. After the battle is over, you simply right-click on their body. When you buff yourself, you'll buff your companion as well. A stim only applies to you, and if you use a med pack from a medical droid, it will only heal you. There are healing items available from the Biochem crafting skill, which can heal you and your companion, so that's an option as well. Your healing skill will heal you and your companion as well. If you see that their health is low, take a moment to get that back up before you send that poor deer back into battle. Let's talk about the interface editor for a moment. If you hit escape enough times, you'll bring up the game options menu, and the interface editor will allow you to entirely move elements in your game client wherever you want them in your window. You can move your companion's little icon bubble if its location annoys you, or you can find a more efficient place to put it. Out of the interface editor, if you hit the tilde key, that squiggly character, and reverse apostrophe key next to your main keyboard's number 1 key, you can toggle the full and full-sized companion quick bar. I'm always hitting this by accident, and I always want it full-sized, so I changed the key binding to something I'm less likely to hit while in combat. By about level 17, you'll see a couple different stances available on this quick bar, along with some fighting skills. Some of these skills might not be activated. Look for the little green square in the top right of each quick bar skill. If it's not enabled and you want it to be, right-click in that tiny little square to make it green, and your companion will use it automatically. There are some veteran users who micromanage their companion's skills and disable all the automatic skill using. The player will click on each skill manually while in combat. That is a lot more complicated than I care to get into, but that is an option if you can wrap your mind around the complexities of that. The default key bindings for your character are the control key plus numbers 1 through 9 and 0. Now right here I'm going to address the Jedi Consular and the Sith Inquisitor specifically, because you're going to want to learn how to make your companion tank more quickly than the other classes, as you are the ones wearing the light armor and are therefore very squishy. To make the companion initialize combat, click first on the creature, the monster, or whatever enemy you want the companion to go after. I tend to send my companion after the strongest creature in a group. Once the creature is selected, click the first square on your companion's quick bar, the one that tells him to attack. He'll rush in and do his thing, and you can then select the monster yourself to damage the creature. Your companion will take most of the damage while you perform the DPS role and stay safe. It's easy to resurrect your companion if he dies. Now if you die, he will not revive you, so keep yourself out of harm's reach, and don't forget to heal after almost every battle. Jedi Consulars and Sith Inquisitors tend to fight from far off, and those who choose the healing Sage or Sorcerer advanced class even more so. Key bindings aren't really a thing I've covered in a podcast episode yet, but I will share that I always make F1 the select closest enemy key and F2 the companion attack quick skill key on my Consulars and Inquisitors. These keys are conveniently located very near my attack keys, so my way of initializing combat is F1, F2, and then the normal keys 1, 2, and so on. You will find your own way of fighting as you go, and as you gain more companions, you might even change your key binding settings even further. It's all good. This is all about making things comfortable and efficient to you. By the way, if you have a gaming mouse with multiple buttons, you can totally set those for various skills as well. I change F1 and F2 to make my companions attack a thing. You can find the keybind settings in the Game Options menu. You hit Preferences and then select Key Bindings from the bottom tab in this Preferences window. Here's a thing you will only see if you're a subscriber. Sometime after you gain your companion, and sometime just before you travel to Fleet for the first time, you're going to get a class mission reward that offers you a choice of one of 3 customizations for your first character. You can hold the Shift key and left-click on each customization to see how they look on your companion, and then you select the one you like. The game provides customizations, so like, for example, not every Kaizen Fest companion you see following behind a sage or a shadow looks like a green lizard. Some will look yellow, some will look red, and some might wear different armor. If you hit C on your keyboard and bring up your character sheet, click on the Companion tab to view your companion. On the bottom left of the sheet, there will be a space entitled Customization. You can right-click on the customization you chose in your inventory, or you can drag and drop the customization from your inventory to your character sheet, but however you do it, the visual appearance will change immediately. For you preferred and free-to-play accounts, you get companion customizations too. Never fear, it just takes some in-game credits. There are various NPCs littered throughout the Republic and the Empire who sell things to give your companion a different skin color, hair color, and other things to appeal or repel you as is your wont. Are you curious how many customizations there are for every companion out there? Well, if you want to see them all and you don't mind being spoiled as to who your other 4 companions will be, go to tor-fashion.com, that's the character dash, not the word dash, tor-fashion.com/companion. You'll view an entire page of all companions available, and if you click on their image, it will bring up another page with all the possible appearance choices. Some companions will have more appearance choices than others, but this website will show you what's available and even where to find them. Just so you know, you must purchase the customization on the character whose companion you want to customize. The purchasable customizations are bind on pickup. That is, once you buy the thing, it is bound to you whether you can use it or not. So take care with that. You don't want to buy the wrong one. Again, hold down the Shift key and click on the customization with your left mouse button to see how that particular customization looks on your companion. When you have your companion summoned and with you, and you enter into dialogue with an NPC, you'll see that your character reacts favorably or negatively depending on your dialogue choices. Kaizen is surprisingly very okay with dark side choices, as is Kamval. Vet and Mako are partial to light side conversations, and the others have varying opinions as well. Rather than speak about all the varied individual companions here, I'm going to direct you to my wiki of choice, swator.wikia.com, where you can read up on companions. Scroll down to the bottom of the companions category page to see a more detailed write-up on each one. Each companion has their own likes and dislikes as well. Anyway, these dialogue reactions give and take affection points. You can have a total of 10,000 affection points per companion, and the bonus for maxing affection with a companion means that the companion performs crew skill missions a little faster, they're a little stronger in combat due to a bonus to the presence stat, and it unlocks nice legacy perks when your character reaches maximum level. You'll see in that section of swator.wikia.com that there's a particular kind of gift that each companion likes as well. Companion gifts raise affection score much more quickly than you can achieve by mere dialogue. Raising a companion's affection will unlock bits of dialogue and even a mission or two over time. If you're anxious to have more conversations with a particular companion quickly, then you'll want to investigate the world of companion gifts. You can find companion gifts at a vendor on Fleet in the Galactic Trade Network section, or you can find them on the GTN itself. In addition, the crew skills Underworld Trading, Treasure Hunting, Diplomacy, and Investigation have missions that can give companion gifts as rewards, rather than a particular material used in crafting. Most of my characters whom I don't use with the 6 crafting skills use 3 of these 4 mentioned crew skills in order to grind out a bunch of companion gifts at once. I'll get into crew skills more heavily in the upcoming podcast episode in which I blither about things that become a thing at level 10, but companion gifts are definitely part of that and worth mentioning here. Did you know that there's a romantic option hidden somewhere in your array of available companions? Some of them are available immediately on your first companion, depending on what gender you've chosen for your character. On the Republic side, the female smuggler can get snuggly with Corso, and the female trooper can eventually win over the heart of Arik Jorgen. On the Imperial side, male characters can choose to get cozy with Mego as a bounty hunter, Kaleo as an Imperial agent, or Vet as a Sith warrior. The other classes, such as any Jedi Consular, male smuggler, and female Inquisitor, will have other romance options down the line, but it isn't with their first companion, and some characters get multiple romantic options, though that seems limited to the male players just now. If you want to be spoilered, that is, if you would like to see what is possible with each companion, head over to YouTube and put in the words "companion compilation" along with your character class, and click on a video or two to see the dialogue that comes up when you earn more affection with a given character. Again, you'll take some of the surprise out of what happens, but I don't personally see a thing wrong with having some forward knowledge about what is coming up for a character. In fact, it makes me more apt to play a character so that I can see a thing for myself. But I'm weird that way. The way that you get more companions is to complete more of your class storyline. The trooper will gain 3 companions by the time they're level 25 and through the planet of Nar Shaddaa, while most of the other classes will have 2 companions at that point. Separate from your class companions, you will also gain a droid by the time you leave the capital planet at around level 16 or 17, because something happens by the time you leave the capital world. The droid is capable of weak healing, and he's terrible at fighting. He's more comfortable staying behind and perhaps being sent on crew skill missions. If you haven't guessed, your companions make up your crew. They're the ones gathering the things, getting the things, and making the things. It's up to you what they get and what they make, but yeah, they do the thing behind the scenes and allow you to continue on with your main quest. There's a companion that I haven't referred to yet, but I'm going to go ahead and share her now. There is a short Ewok named Treek, T-R-E-E-K, that is available to both the Empire and the Republic, and she has the singular distinction of being the only healer tank companion or character in the entire game. They may make other companions available with this capability in the future, but for now, Treek is in a class all by herself. To acquire Treek, you need to either be a veteran player with a level 40 legacy and 1 million in-game credits, or you can purchase her for 2,100, that's 2,100, cartel coins in the cartel market. You receive a piece of paper called a contract that you can right-click to activate on any character who is level 10. The process to acquire her is a short quest in which you talk to a droid for a couple minutes. Treek is a very handy companion to have, no matter what your class or combat rule preference. She tanks brilliantly for those who want to focus on DPS or healing to make an encounter shorter, and she heals for those who want to do the fun part of tanking, but also want to survive the encounter. She can do both at once, performing as a secondary healer if you just need a supplementary bump to your health, or being able to survive being hit on occasion if you take the brunt of the damage. If you have acquired the Cartel Market contract rather than the Legacy 40 contract, for an additional 700 Cartel coins, you can unlock her contract in Collections, allowing any character on any server in your account to redeem their own Treek companion, as long as they are at least level 10 when they do so. I tend to get Treek as soon as my character is level 10 and running around Fleet, where the quest-giving droid is. She's one of the most useful things you can buy to augment your account, and I suggest the Cartel Market version to make her most universally available to everyone in your account. To switch between any of your companions, hit N on your keyboard, which will bring up the crew skill menu. But there will also be a list of companions, each with an arrow on the right-hand side, that will summon the companion that you want to have with you. If there is already a companion summoned, the existing companion will be dismissed to allow the new companion to appear. Sometimes there's a class mission that requires a particular companion to be present in order for the class mission to advance. I'm scouring my brain for anything I might have missed on the topic of companions, but I'm pretty sure I covered all the major stuff. I find the companion part of this game to be amazingly interesting, and I haven't seen it elsewhere in my gaming experience. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, only that I haven't seen it. I would say that half of my enthusiasm for any given character I play is the companion they eventually get that I want to pair them up with. I'm just now leveling a Jedi Knight because that last one looks so interesting. I think I'll go ahead and wrap this up. I'm Jen, and you've been listening to the Tornoob Podcast, Episode 3, recorded June 28th, 2014. Coming up next is a rather long-winded podcast episode devoted to all the stuff that happens at level 10. And after that, I need to delve more deeply into crew skills, because I have some tips that will make your in-game time most rewarding and efficient, so look for those soon. And remember, what do you call that one game that all the stormtroopers are playing these days? Game of Clones. Take care!
Save the day. And in the end, some Gungans died. Some ships blew up and some pilots fried. A lot of folks were croaking. The battle droids were broken. And the Jedi I admire most met up with Darth Maul and now he's toast. Well, I'm still here and he's a ghost. I guess I'll train this boy. And I was singing, my, this here Anakin guy. Maybe Vader someday later, now he's just a small fry. And he left his home and kissed his mommy goodbye, saying soon I'm gonna be a Jedi. Soon I'm gonna be a Jedi. We were singing, my, this here Anakin guy. Maybe Vader someday later, now he's just a small fry. He left his home and kissed his mommy goodbye, saying soon I'm gonna be a Jedi.